All right, so picture this. You pull up a retirement calculator, plug in your age, and it spits out some terrifyingly huge number. 7 figures, maybe more. And you immediately think, that's unrealistic. That's for other people. Sound familiar? Yeah, me too. Look, here's the truth nobody wants to tell you about investing. We're all obsessed with this one magic number, but focusing only on that final goal is a broken strategy. It's the reason most people get paralyzed before they even begin. But here's what's wild. There are actually 3 much smaller milestones you'll hit along the way that genuinely transform your life. Not the feel-good nonsense, but actual inflection points where your financial life fundamentally changes. The problem is, most investors get permanently stuck between stages 1 and 2. They lose patience right before the math tips in their favor, and they quit, sometimes just a few feet from striking gold. Today, we're breaking down those 3 tipping points, explaining why that middle phase is so psychologically brutal, and showing you how to break through to the final stage of true financial freedom. The first milestone is the one that lets you finally sleep at night. I call it the safety net. Financially, this is your emergency fund. I'm not talking about your investment money. This is your insurance money. We're talking 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses, parked somewhere safe and boring like a high-yield savings account where it's easily accessible. This is a fund that ensures a sudden job loss or surprise car repair doesn't become a financial catastrophe that forces you to sell your investments at the worst possible time. But here's what really changes. The psychology. You move from a state of constantly worrying about money to a state of stability. Before this milestone, any unexpected expense can send you into a panic. But once you have that cushion, you build a firewall between life's chaos and your investments. You stop living in what-if scenarios and start operating from a place of security. Honestly, this milestone is your proof of concept. It proves that you can set a financial goal, create a plan, and actually crush it. It builds a habit of paying yourself first. For someone in their 20s or 30s, this might be the first $10,000 or $20,000 you've ever managed to save. It's a foundational step, and while hitting it is a huge accomplishment, it's also where the real journey begins. Because this stage is about survival, the next one is about freedom. Okay, this second milestone is the most important one on the entire journey. It's also the one where most people fail. And I'm not just saying that to be dramatic. I call it the independence anchor. Financially, this is a point where you have accumulated 1 full year of your annual living expenses invested in stocks, index funds, retirement accounts, completely separate from your emergency fund. So if you spend $50,000 a year, this means having $50,000 working for you in the market. So why is this the game changer? Because for the first time, your money has started to do some real work. Compound growth is no longer just a theory in a book. You can actually see it. But more importantly, you now have real, meaningful options about your future. This is what I call walk-away money. You could quit a toxic job without having another one lined up. You could take a 6-month sabbatical to travel or learn a new skill. You could afford to take a pay cut to switch into a more fulfilling career. You could tell your boss exactly what you think of his mandatory fun Fridays. Okay, maybe don't do that last one. But you could. Your life choices are no longer dictated solely by your next paycheck. The psychological shift is profound. You move from stability to freedom. So why is this the stage where so many people get stuck? It's because of something I call the valley of despair. The journey from zero to your emergency fund feels fast and rewarding. The wins are obvious, but the grind to the independence anchor feels brutally slow. It feels like you're pushing a giant boulder up a steep hill. You're exerting massive effort, but the boulder barely seems to move. Your contributions still make up the vast majority of your portfolio's growth. This is where the doubt creeps in. You've been disciplined for years, but the results don't feel explosive yet. And that's when people look for a reward they can feel now. They upgrade the car, buy a bigger house, and let lifestyle inflation eat up the very capital that was about to reach its tipping point. They trade long-term freedom for a short-term feeling. But if you can resist that temptation and just keep pushing through this valley, you get to the other side where the magic happens. Remember what Charlie Munger said, That first $100,000 is brutally hard to earn, but because of compounding, each subsequent $100,000 arrives faster and faster. You're no longer just pushing the boulder. It's starting to roll on its own. Once you push past independence anchor, you're on the path to the third and final milestone, financial independence. This is where you cross over from comfortable to actually wealthy in retirement. This is financial independence in its truest form. Let me paint you a picture. Financially, this is the point where your invested assets are equal to 25 times your annual expenses. This number is based on the 4% rule, a guideline which suggests that you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio's value each year without depleting the principal. So, if you spend $60,000 a year, this milestone means having a $1.5 million investment portfolio. At this stage, work becomes truly optional. Your investment portfolio is now a machine that runs itself, generating enough income to cover your living expenses indefinitely. The income from your investments can now compete with and often exceed the income from your job. The psychological shift here is a final evolution. You move from freedom to abundance. For most of your life, you traded your time for money. Now, your money buys back your time. You are no longer working for money. Your money is working for you. Here's the part that sounds obnoxious, but is mathematically true. At this level, your biggest problem is figuring out what to do with all the money your money is making. A $1.5 million portfolio with 8% growth generates $120,000 a year. If you're only spending $60,000, your wealth is still increasing by $60,000 per year, even though you're retired. The question is no longer, how do I afford my life? It becomes, how do I want to live my life? This is where your wealth becomes a tool for legacy, impact, and building generational wealth. You're sipping coffee on a Tuesday morning wondering why everyone else is stuck in traffic, while you're planning your afternoon kayaking trip. Or pickleball. It's always pickleball. So, take a moment and ask yourself, which stage are you in right now? Are you building your safety net? Are you in that brutal but critical grind toward your independence anchor? Or are you on the final climb to financial independence? Look, don't be discouraged if you're in the valley of despair. That slow, quiet mill phase is not a sign that your plan is broken. It's the price of admission for building real wealth. The beginning is not supposed to look impressive. It's supposed to look ordinary. Your only job is to focus on the next logical milestone. If you're at zero, your mission is to build that safety net. Once that's secure, every dollar of effort goes toward the independence anchor. Don't get distracted by the final multi-million-dollar number. Focus on winning the stage you're in right now. Wealth isn't built in one giant leap. If it was, everyone would be a millionaire. But it is simple. Contribute consistently. Stay the course. Don't panic when the market drops. Give it time. The time will pass anyway. You might as well let it pass with your money invested and working for you. If this framework was helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more content on building long-term wealth. And let me know in the comments which milestone you're working toward right now. I read every single one. Thanks for watching.